Number 3, Ohio State is 4-0, and they face Iowa, who is 3-1 this Saturday. Probably should be 4-0, but that Iowa State game happened. Ohio State has outscored opponents by an average of 42 points and dominates the second half, outscoring teams 91-3 after halftime. Zach, Ohio State's defense has allowed just 60 to 61 yards in second halves of recent games. Iowa will rely on controlling the ball with star running back Kaleb Johnson, who is number 2 nationally with 685 yards and averages 9.8 yards per carry. Ohio State boasts a balanced offense with running backs Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, 666 combined rushing yards, 9 touchdowns, and a standout wide receiver and freshman Jeremiah Smith, who has 5 touchdown catches on the season, 1 rushing touchdown as well. Iowa's QB, Cade McNamara, has been efficient, aiming for mistake-free football, but will face Ohio State's second-ranked defense. Iowa's coach, Kirk Ferentz, knows containing Ohio State's multifaceted offense will be a very tough challenge. Zach, where do you stand on this game?
There's a part of me that wants to pick a bigger blowout, because I look at the matchup and I'm like, Iowa's one-dimensional, and I think Ohio State, when having to plan for a one-dimensional attack defensively, I think they can shut it down. And I think offensively, I think they can overwhelm this Iowa defense, especially because they have not done a good job of stopping the big play through the air. And so you've got an alien in Jeremiah Smith and a first-round receiver in Emeka Ibuka, and probably a guy who'd be the number 1 receiver on most teams in Carnell Tate. And you're like, this should be a pretty significant blowout. But I just think Iowa is going to find a way to sit on the ball and to move the chains. I think Kaleb Johnson might have like 35 carries in this game. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe 2 or 3 drives that take about 7 to 8 minutes long each. And because of that, that's going to take the air out of the ball. It's going to limit possessions. I think Kaleb Johnson gets over 100 yards in this game. And I think because of that, I think they get a couple touchdowns in this game. I still think Ohio State's efficient. I think it's close at half. I think it's a little lower scoring. I've got 34-17 in this game.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I see Ohio State allowing 17 to Iowa unless there is some kind of pick six or something like that from Iowa, or like a fumble recovery. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago, when was it Jack Campbell?
Jack
CJ
Campbell.
Stroud fumbled the sack and Jack Campbell picked it up and went for a touchdown. So, like, obviously something like that is entirely possible. Will Howard's also only been sacked 1 time this season in his 4 games, which is really impressive for an offensive line everybody was projecting would be one of Ohio State's biggest weaknesses going into the season. And honestly, the Ohio State offensive line has been really good at run blocking. So I'm with you. Like, when Iowa comes in and they're one-dimensional with Kaleb Johnson, if Iowa had a running quarterback, I would feel more icky about this one and maybe pick Iowa to score a couple more times. But I mean, Cade McNamara is a statue. I know he beat Ohio State 2-3 years ago, however long ago it was, but at the end of the day, like, this Iowa team, I think they have good pieces, but I think Ohio State has great pieces everywhere, and it's going to be really, really difficult for Iowa to try and muster up enough rushing yards to score and enough time possession in order to score as well. So I will say, though, one thing Iowa does have going for them is that Ohio State fans have been very critical of their linebacker play the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's my big concern.
Yeah, Ohio State is starting Sonny Styles, a former safety who now plays down at linebacker, which Ohio State fans are not very happy with. And then leader of the defense, Cody Simon, is starting kind of like that middle linebacker role. Now, I don't think Cody Simon has been much of an issue this year, but many Ohio State fans are upset with Sonny Styles. So my question is does Sonny Styles play the most snaps of any linebacker 2 games in a row, or do they get Arvell Reese in there, the backup linebacker who has been better almost in every single place statistically. And when I say statistically, I mean like PFF grades, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or do they continue to go with Sonny Styles? I don't know what they will do. But Ohio State's defense stops everybody. So as much as like people are upset with the linebackers, I also kind of feel like it's just nitpicking at this point because nobody has been able to move the ball on them consistently for an entire game, not just like a few drives here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah. I think 17 for me, it can come, I think, on a defensive score. I think it could come on a bad angle from Styles. Because I do think
I mean,
this
Kaleb
is
Johnson has home run ability. Like
yeah.
if you let him get loose, yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing with that, Iowa's offensive line will be the best offensive line that this D line has faced. And I know Tyleek is probably coming back this week. I think this will be a telling matchup for Ohio State's D line, and if they are actually ready for the better offensive lines in the conference and in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I think that this offensive line is going to be a really good test. I don't know if this is the best pass protecting offensive line. I think Michigan State has a better pass protecting offensive
Yeah.
line, but definitely run blocking. I think this is the best run blocking offensive line that Ohio State has seen so far.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting. My
What's your
prediction, or go ahead.
I was going to say over under, how many sacks do you think Ohio State gets in this game?
Well, I think if they do pass, I don't think they're going to let Cade McNamara stand back there very long because they know he's a statue and they know he's not going to be able to move around very much. I'd say over under 2.5.
Okay.
I'd probably take the under.
The under.
What would you take? Yeah.
I'd probably pick the over on sacks. Unless if they just don't drop back, which is probably their game plan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Iowa is going to try to take a bunch of deep shots with Cade McNamara.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think they might try to run some play action and stuff like that, and Ohio State might get them a couple times on play action with Cade McNamara's back to the defense and JT or Jack Sawyer or even Tyleek. If Tyleek Williams is back in this game, that's gonna be a huge thing for Ohio State, which he should be. It sounded like he was good to play this last week, or was it 2 weeks ago that he was good to play? One of those two.
It was this week. This week he
Yeah.
was good.
But they just kind of put him in like emergency roles. So, but if Tyleek Williams is back, I mean, they're bound to get at least one sack. He just wrecks the middle so much, and frees up the other guys. So my prediction in this one is gonna be 31-10. Either that score is a Kaleb Johnson long run that Sonny Styles or one of the linebackers gets beat. I do think they have Caleb Downs back there, who is like a heat-seeking missile that helps if a linebacker gets beat, or there will be some kind of defensive touchdown, whether that be a pick six or a fumble or something like that Iowa will take advantage of. Iowa just has a way of doing that. I don't believe in Iowa's special teams as much this season. I don't think they'll get a special team score.
No, so. I agree. I agree.
All right.
Mello said Tyleek is back. They said it in the presser today.
Okay. I haven't listened to the presser yet today. I need to listen to that after this. So, all right, cool. Thanks, Mello. Appreciate you bringing that up. He also says Sonny is starting every game unless he gets hurt, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Yeah, I think the conversation about somebody starting over him is kind of ridiculous, but I definitely think you can see somebody like Arvell Reese start getting more snaps. I'm not saying more snaps than him. I'm just saying like getting more snaps and cutting into Sonny's snap count a little bit more. But we'll see. It's interesting to think about.